Podcast. I'm your host, E-Rock. If you like this podcast, do me a favor real quick and go to whatever podcast app you listen to this on and give us a rating. It really helps get found in the searches and getting in suggested feeds. I want to give a shout out to the sponsors of this episode, Hefe's Airsoft Solutions, Skirmish, and TNT Airsoft. Make sure you guys go check out their content, products, and services. I'll have the links to all of those in the description. Thanks for being here. Let's get into the podcast. Did you play sports in school or growing up?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. I actually did a few rifle competitions growing up in my high school years. Real steel rifle competitions. I wrestled all throughout high school.
Shit.
I was a captain of the wrestling
What weight
team,
class?
varsity wrestler in Long Island. 195.
Okay. Is that what you started out as? Your first year?
First year in like JV, I started at 182. Then I bumped up a weight class, and that's where I was the rest of my high school career.
Okay.
Yep. I was. I don't know if you could tell. I'm not
I
exactly
started
the
out
thinnest
at
of people.
155. Yeah.
Oh, get out of here! You wrestled too?
Oh yeah. I wrestled for 4 years. I started out at 155, then I went to 167, and that's where I ended up. Stayed. Mm-hmm.
Yep. I wrestled for 6 years because I did it in middle school as well.
Yeah. So I
And
did.
that doesn't count. Yep, middle
I guess
school.
it was 5 years then.
I started off
8th grade on, and then 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. But yeah.
Yeah, my middle school was 7th, 8th, and then you did your 9th through 12. But wrestling was one of those things, man. It was like the weirdest addiction. Like, I hate it. I want to stop, and then you're like,
oh, dude,
no, I don't.
It's
no,
100% worth
I gotta
it.
keep going.
The butterflies I used to get before practice because your coaches are fucking insanely tough, and you're gonna run your fucking ass off. It's
I got the butterflies at the matches, but because when we were going to practice every day, I mean, I grew up in a fairly urban area. I grew up basically in Queens. My hometown's border of Queens.
Okay.
And so we were all wild and jumpy, but whenever we got onto the bus, man, it was almost like, one, we did this every day, and two, it was like we had to take a bus into practice. I think that's what really made it the feel different, because it's not like, oh, I gotta walk into this room and do this. We had a district team. So it was a few schools that went in, and they would go to one central school or one school that had the wrestling room. And you would go and wrestle there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, wrestling's not like the mainstream sport. There's there's a lot of it doesn't get the draw that football and baseball get or basketball gets. So I heard about some of these areas where they didn't have enough people to make form a team, so they would do the same thing you're talking about.
He would be uplifting and motivating, but at the same time hard on you. I had a really good coach. So when we went to practice, we didn't look forward to it, but we were like, well, it almost felt like you were on the prison bus. Like, well, I know what's going to happen. Damn. Shoot. How many people lost their matches yesterday? Shit.
Oh yeah, we're in for it.
You remember? You remember that? You like, all right, you have 12 wrestlers and 8 of them lost their matches yesterday. Oh, we're so screwed. And it was always the worst when you were one of the people that won your matches and you still had to pay the price.
Yes. Oof. I mean, that's you learn that, like, when you grow up playing on team sports. And wrestling is it is a team sport, but it's individually based. It's not like the other kind of team sports. So, but your scores go towards the whole team, and in a match. So you get punished. Everyone gets punished for the faults of 2 or 3. Okay, and it's a lot like the military. That's how the military is, And then but football is the same way. I mean, one guy out of 80 people on our team would piss the coach off in practice, and we're all running. Just run. Just run. Yeah,
Yep.
it's
We
not
used
just the
to.
military that has blanket parties, bro. Listen, we go in the locker room afterwards.
Oh,
We're gonna fucking
no.
towel. Well, when I was in school, we actually still used the showers like after practice and stuff, and like full on. Nobody wore
Okay.
bathing suits or underwear or nothing like that. Like in high school, guys would go in and you take a shower. You know, we're used to being naked in the locker room is no big deal, but you take your towel and we all gang up on the dude that fucked up. Okay, you start smacking him with the towel. Oh yeah,
To guess my age, but I'm still very young. High school was just right around the corner for me, at least.
yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
52.
Oh shit. 50. Wow. God bless you, dude. You don't look it.
Thank you. Hell
You
yeah,
almost
man.
you look like Matty Mo's age. You look like 32.
Oh damn, I appreciate that. I
You
used
don't
to.
look it. I was not gonna take you in your early 50s.
No,
No,
I
not a
wouldn't.
shot.
So I graduated high school in '89. So I graduated. Yeah, bro.
Wow. Holy
1989.
cow. You're actually
That's
wait, you
fucking
said how
crazy.
old are you?
52.
You're exactly my dad's age. You were born 71?
70. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I would not have taken you for that. I'm 22.
Okay. Hell yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
no, high
So
school was very
you're like one of. So my wife and I have 5 kids, 3 boys, 2 girls. Two of my sons that were on
God
the
bless.
that's how we started this channel. Was the they started playing airsoft with their buddy from high school, and they're the 2 older boys. And
Yeah.
yeah, I have one of my sons is 22. My youngest daughter, he's the younger son out of the 3, and then my youngest daughter is or my youngest child is 21. My oldest son is 28, so 21. So we had 5 and 7 years. And we were like a baby making machine, like a factory. Okay, me and my wife, she was like pumping them out every time we'd get together, and she's holding a baby and she's pregnant. My dad's like, dude, do you know what causes that? I'm like, I don't know, man. I went in the Marine Corps, not the Air Force. I'm too
Daddy,
dumb.
I don't know if you knew this. Daddy, I don't know if you knew this, but you didn't exactly breed me to be smart.
Right? I hit my head
I
a
feel
few
like that's
times.
what you
Okay.
told your dad just then.
Oh yeah. No, so yeah, the boys, 2 of my boys started playing with their one of their buddies, just 4 years ago, and they were in their 20s, and I was paralyzed for a couple years. I was totally healthy my whole life, and then out of the blue, it's called Guillain-Barré syndrome. It's similar to like ALS, that kind of thing. So I was totally healthy, totally fine, didn't even feel sick, no nothing. And on a Saturday, I started feeling kind of like my hands didn't work right because me and my
Wow.
buddies were trying to throw a football together, or just we were drinking, watching college football, and then we went outside during halftime. We're throwing a ball, and I had no indication, no clue, no nothing. Didn't feel tired, didn't feel nothing,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden my hands didn't work. I tried to throw a football, and I'm good at football, and I played football for a lot of years since I was in 4th grade, and so I could throw it pretty far. I threw it like 5 feet. Like I couldn't grip it, and I said, "What the hell?" I kept shaking my hands like I can't squeeze this ball. It was weird. So that was on a Saturday. By Monday, I couldn't walk. So it was crazy. So that lasted for a while. Well, coming out of that, when I was able to kind of walk down the walk around the house, I started. I had never started YouTube channels, right? Never even thought of it. I was the dad saying, "Quit watching videos on your phone or on a tablet and go outside and do something." That was me. So, but I needed something to keep my mind busy from going nuts, and I started that YouTube channel I told you about, the Scout Life one, and then 2 more, and then my boy started playing airsoft, and I said, "Oh, I'll film that. Let me film you."
Yeah.
And they were like, "All right." So I ran the channel. But anyway, that's how we started. But yeah, So I've always kind of I'm always kind of young thinking, right? Like I don't feel I never say, "Oh, I feel so old." I never say that because I don't really feel that old. Um, my buddies do that. You bastard! You're 22.
Listen, I was there's you I don't know if you've met him or heard about him, but on the Mobros they got someone we call Uncle Joker. So
Joker. No, I have heard of him. Actually, him and I have
yep,
chatted. I haven't had him on here yet. I'm going to.
he's a character.
Yeah.
But Joker in the team, or at least in our group of friends, he's kind of known as like he's the uncle, and two, he's always he's got a bad knee, a bad back. He's
Mm-hmm.
but for the most part, that's what he's known for. When I went to ArcLight, I want to say about a few days, not even a week before ArcLight, I must have did something to my knee, dude. Um, I messed my knee up. I couldn't get out of bed.
Holy
It was
shit!
bad. I don't know what happened.
Was
I
that the
don't
first time you ever
remember.
had like a injury on your
Yeah,
knee or have it hurt? Okay.
yeah, and it was scary. And Joker was the first one
Mm-hmm.
I had talked to, and I had to bang out of work. I literally couldn't get out of bed. When I
Yeah.
mean that, I don't mean like, oh no, it sucked. I mean I had to grab a like one of those giant curtain rods, and I couldn't. I had to like hug
Use
it
it
to
like
my
a
chest
cane or
because
a
I couldn't
crutch.
put any pressure on it,
Damn.
any pressure on my leg. I was like, this is bad. This was bad, and it was right before ArcLight. I'm like, dude, I think I gotta sell my ticket. And then luckily, I just kept taking care of it. And by the time ArcLight came, I was ready to go. Or I shouldn't
Mm.
say fully ready to go because this thing still is aching me. That's what I'm saying. Like now,
Really?
I feel, yeah. I mean, I'm like, I don't know what I
Do you
did to
think?
it, but I'm
Did you ever figure it out? Like, did you think you the way you slept maybe it was like you pinched one of those ligaments or arteries or
I
something?
mean, the day prior, I remember I drove a coworker home, and we spent the night together, just having fun, going out to eat, laughing. And I remember when I came home after dropping him off, I just remember feeling pain in my knee. I went to 7-Eleven, got myself a drink, went home. Um, right, and I'm like, why am I limping around 7-Eleven? Oh man, I had a rough day at work. I do
Yeah.
physical labor. I'm like, all
Okay.
right, maybe I just need to go to sleep and sleep it off. Maybe it's just achy from standing all day. I know I was playing around, being rough, doing what I always do over work. And the next day, I'm like, oh, what the heck is this? I was pissed. I was getting ready for the worst. I'm like, I got a knee injury. I don't know what I did. And that was what pissed me off the most, that I couldn't figure out what I did.
That's annoying.
It was
Yeah.
scary. It was
Right.
scary because I'm like, why is my knee just gone? I
Uh-huh.
couldn't. And then I remember I had to call out for 2 days from work, and this was recent. This was like 2 3 weeks ago.
Right.
So I'm
That's
like,
wild.
I had to get a brace. I was trying to work, and then
Huh.
I'm like, do I sell my ArcLight ticket? And Matty Mo was like, dude, just come. We'll set you up with a spot where you don't have to run around or anything. And then
Right.
by the time I got there, I mean, I got my brace. I'm hopped up on Tylenol. I'm like, I just remember they were like, dude, what do you want to do? Do you want to do the night raid? Do you want to? And I was just like, what are we doing for the night raid? We're on defense. Fuck it, I'll go because I'm just gonna stand in the building all day. And next thing I know, I'm going balls to the wall pretty much the whole event. And I remember looking at Joker, and I was like, ah man, I could do it. And he kind of looked at me. He's like, what do you mean? You're with me now on Hobble Squad. Come here, Hobbley.
Oh, that's funny.
Because I don't know if Maddie's ever said it to you, but have you ever heard of the two types of airsofters, the waddlers and the speed softers, or the speedy
Uh-huh.
guys? All right, me and Joker filled up the third subsection called the hobblers, and just kind
Nice.
of gimping with bad knees on the field.
Oh, that's funny, man. Yeah, for sure.
So
Well,
Yeah. No, I want to.
one of the guys I had on here, and he's been following our channel, and we followed his for since the beginning. You know, since we started our channel like 4 years ago, is NEPA, NEPA Airsoft. Okay, so it's Northeast Pennsylvania Airsoft. So Don is his name.
Heard
He's
about.
an old cat, man. He's older than me, and he's been playing airsoft since like the '90s, bro. So, and I'm talking like a lot. Okay, he's got 700 plus videos on his YouTube channel that for airsoft. Okay.
That's how I originally messaged you. I don't know if you remember, like last year in May, I wanted to see like any teams that were coming out
Oh,
to
okay.
gangs, try to do some recruiting. I think it's because I saw you in the what was it? The East Coast Alliance Discord. I was
Yeah,
like,
I
let's
was
see
in
if they
there.
want to come out. Yep.
Uh
I was like,
huh.
let me see if they want to come out. And I hit you up on Instagram, and you told me you're in North Carolina. I was like, oh well, this guy is not coming out. I'm
Yeah.
not. I
Yeah, I
was
remember
like,
that. I
damn.
remember that. That was
Yep. So
so Don has been so as far as like aches and pains and knee stuff, you know, he busted his knee, like he broke his leg. I think this is 3 years ago, 2 years ago, playing airsoft,
yeah.
walking, not
Wow.
really running, but you know, kind of walking fast or whatever with all the gear in a hole, stepped in a hole. His leg, you know, his foot went down into a hole that he didn't see about up almost up to his knee or close to it, and of course his body kept going. It kind of hyperextended on his kneecap and busted his leg. He had to get pins, I think. I mean, it was bro. Oh yeah. So
So
yeah, he's definitely like, you know, it's really difficult for him to get out and actually run around and play like he used to, but he still does, man. He on his property at his house, they're setting up this whole they're kind of building up a field that they've been doing for a while. And the last time I had him on the podcast just a couple months ago, he that was like his third or fourth time. No, it was like his fifth time to get on the podcast. He was kind of we went over showed pictures of his field and stuff like that. But yeah, he's the definitely one of the guys that's been on that's been playing airsoft the longest as far as who I've talked to.
I've been on the East Coast Alliance since the Valkyries started,
Okay.
and I think now for a few months now, I'm looking at this. I'm like, wow, I've never played with these guys. I don't know these guys. Who are them? And in my head, I'm
Yeah.
going, we're the East Coast Alliance. We all just got patches recently. I don't know
Okay.
if anyone showed those off, but we
Uh-uh.
have East Coast Alliance patches now, which I think are awesome. Um, but we're supposed to be an alliance, and yeah, we network through social media. We get to know each other, but to me at least, I want to reach out to all these guys whenever we have an
Mm-hmm.
event and be like, hey, do you want to meet? Do you want to play together? You want to run together? I want to meet all these guys because
Yeah.
we're all on the East Coast. It's not like we're all that far from each other. We pick a date, we pick an event, and we all kind of go. And I got a taste of that at ArcLight. Um,
Mm-hmm.
us, Mobros, um, Dogs of War, a lot of teams were there, really putting in a lot of work and working hard, and we were all like a family the entire time. Um, Dart was there. It was a fantastic time, and I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
So if I, c-
Right.
I would love to meet these guys.
Yeah, reach out to him,
Even
man,
you
for
guys,
real.
even you guys, like if there's a time, because I want to travel. I want to
I
come
got
more
you.
down south in 2024 if I can. Maybe even link up with you guys because that's I know I think I want to hit Georgia next year.
Okay.
Actually,
Mm-hmm.
Georgia's on my list. I heard about a event called Serious Viking,
Yep.
and I
Serious
want to get
Viking.
on that. Yep, I
It's
want to
a
get on
big
that.
event. Yeah, and there's
Yep.
that it's the I can't remember the name of the place, but it's in Perry, Georgia. They oh
I've heard of
yeah,
it.
it's
They I heard about it from One Legion.
oh yeah.
And they were at ArcLight too. I remember talking to one Legion a few months back, and they were like, "You should hit this up. You'll love this." And I was like, "You're right. I would love this. I give me some more details. Like, let's,
Dude,
you know."
One
So
Legion, bro. Like I didn't even know.
they kicked major
I didn't even
ass.
know how big their team was. Like this spread out. So the first time I ever heard of like One Legion or whatever, like the team was a girl I talked. I had her on the podcast like over a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe just a year ago. She's in South Africa, so it's One Legion SA.
Okay.
And then she goes, "Yeah, we're the South African branch of One Legion out here. You guys have them out there, in America. They're all over." I was like, "Holy shit!" And I started looking up their team, and they're everywhere, bro.
Like
Yeah,
that definitely sounds like that. Almost sounds like
world
uh,
domination.
yeah, like there can only be one Legion, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what?
Highlander, hell yeah. There
Like
you go.
when you just said that, I'm like, oh man, here they're taking over the world. I love you guys. I do. I had so much fun running with you at ArcLight. Every time I've talked to you, you guys have been super respectful.
That's
Shout
cool.
out to One Legion out there. But
Hell yeah, dude.
um, I kind of want to double back. What was the hardest? Like you remember this very clearly in high school. What was the hardest, the toughest workout that you did in high school in wrestling during your
Oh,
wrestling practices?
100% was cutting weight. So there was
The hardest part of wrestling, don't get me wrong, but
right.
a specific
Like a
exercise.
specific exercise. I mean, we
Like
did
something
suicides. We did
your coach
suicides
made you do this.
nonstop. Oh, absolutely, 100% were backward push-ups. Okay, backward push-ups. Yeah, yeah.
Ooh,
So you know how you do
okay.
your neck exercise. You're laying on your back and you
Yep.
do the
Your neck
bridge, do the
bridges?
bridge, do the bridge. Now put your hands back there. Put your feet up like you're doing an arch. Like gymnastics. Gymnasts do whatever. And now
Yep.
do push-ups, bro. It works some weird
Any
ass muscles back there. Okay, it's like the weirdest shit. It's such a weird feeling.
I gotta I gotta get on that. That's you kind of just untapped something for me. I gotta try that. I definitely gotta try that. No, mine. I remember clear as day. We had to do something, and this sucked for me especially because I was a heavyweight, and I was one of those guys. I tried to work as hard as I could all the time, and I was a strong
Yeah.
guy, and I was a heavyweight. So it didn't like they would bump me up to 220 all the time, and sometimes even bump me up to the 285 guys to take care of them. And I'll never forget we had a 3-story school, so we had 3 sets of stairs, and my coach would bring us out to the hallway and go, "Hey guys, qualifiers are in a month. You know what time it is?" And we're like, "No, no." And he had us do what he would call the stairway to
Yeah.
heaven. Stairway to heaven was you took your wrestling partner and you put him on your back like Master
Oh shit! No,
Yoda.
we didn't do that. Okay.
Yep, you would take your wrestling partner and you put him on your back and like Luke and Yoda style, carry him and sprint up the
Woo!
stairs all the way to the top, all 3 stories, and then you would jog down. You would stop at the top, the very top. So you were already on the 3rd floor when you stopped, and then you would have to jog down the stairs, right? And then you would switch, and then you would get on your partner's back, and
Oh
he would
my
carry you
god,
up the
bro.
stairs. So, and my partner was 220, so he got the easy bit of it. I was a light 195. I was usually weighing in at about
Yeah.
188, and my partner was like a solid 220.
Woof.
So I'm carrying this massive muscular
Uh
football
huh.
player 220. We're sprinting up 3 stories, we're 6 flights of stairs, and I'd get on his back and he'd be like, "Damn, man, what the?" I'm like, "Oh, I know you're not complaining right now." I'm like,
Dude, that
I'm 40 pounds. I'm about 30, 35 pounds less than you. And I just carried you up the stairs. You know you're going to run,
bro, the
right?
stairs. Now we didn't carry each other on our back, but we ran stairs constantly. That was that and suicides. We would go to the so we had our own wrestling room, but with all the mats and everything already in there,
Oh yeah.
and we would work out in there. But if we were able to, he would take us down to the gym if the basketball team wasn't practicing or whatever,
Mhm.
or if they didn't have a game. Because wrestling season and basketball season kind of overlap. They we'd go down there, and that's where we'd run the bleachers, we'd run the stairs. We hated running bleachers because it's harder, because the
Mhm.
stairs, they're made to be safe to walk up and down, right? So your foot, the footprint, the stair width is it fits. But when you're running bleachers and you've got to run in, not on top of the bleacher seats, you've got to run in between, and it's super hard to get your foot in there, and you have to high step because they're sitting, they're like seats. They're not individual seats. They're the how the high school bleachers are set up. So we'd run those all the time. So we're used to running stuff like that, but we never carried anybody. The only time we carried people was in football. When I did football, we would
Mhm.
carry,
Yeah.
the bear crawl, and somebody sits on your back, and you'd have to bear crawl with them.
It wasn't like, oh yeah, do 3 reps of this. No, my coach almost never did reps or sets. He did everything based off a stopwatch.
Oh
So
shit!
you were doing this for time.
Oh yeah.
So
Whew.
he would sit there and he would have us do Stairway to Heaven and be like, all right, go. And it'd be like you'd be doing this in intervals for 30 minutes straight.
Yeah.
So we would just be doing for 30 minutes. We'd be alternating. All right, you run up the stairs and you go down, you switch. He runs up the stairs, you go down, you switch. And it was,
Oh
uh,
jeez. Now, how
and I
did you
had to
get into
be,
wrestling? What did your dad get you into? Like, how did you get involved? Did one of the coaches tell you?
I know I grew up on fighting and combat sports. So my dad was a sensei martial artist. So I was
Okay.
doing martial arts and fighting since before I could remember. And so fighting has always kind of been a big part of my life, using my hands and stuff like that. Anyone who's known me long enough will tell you. And I remember when I was looking through the list of sports on, when you go to high school, you get the pamphlet of all
Mm-hmm.
the sports and clubs you could join. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, there's football. Not really. I'm looking, and I saw wrestling, and I'm like, I fought my whole life. I'm like, why don't I do this?
Yeah.
And I stuck with it since 7th grade, and just kept going through and through, and
It's good
you
skill.
know,
That's actually a good
did
balance
pretty,
with learning grappling like
like did
that, and
pretty
then
well.
using what you learned at a young age, the striking.
To say, when fighting is a big part of your life, especially growing up as a kid, you know, you learn a lot of things. You do learn discipline. You learn tenacity. You learn drive. And obviously, you learn how to fight. You learn martial arts and the
Mm-hmm.
lessons that come with it. And one of those things that I got, or at least in that, was flexibility.
Oh yeah.
Um, I'm
Yeah,
still
definitely.
I'm still very flexible to this day. I'm 22 years old, and with full confidence, I can do a full side split,
Woo! Damn, bro. That's
right down to the
impressive.
sack. Just
That's impressive.
yep, high kicks, jump kicks, you name it. And I still do martial arts. I went recently, and I went to a Taekwondo dojo just to start learning that
Mm-hmm.
for a little while, just to get a new martial art under the belt. I'd like to go back
What
to
did you
it
learn
eventually.
originally?
Kempo,
Oh shit,
American Kempo.
bro. That is yeah. That's the straightforward kind of break your bone stuff.
Yep, that's the I'll tell you this, when I was a kid, I was 5 years old. I was an orange belt, and one of the moves that you had to learn was some called the kimono grab. I don't know what other reiterations people might know it by, but when you, as an orange belt, which was the second, like you did
Mm-hmm.
white, you started off at white and then you went to orange. So I'm in my first real color belt, and The first combo move you're learning, I'm
Right.
spearhanding people's throats. I'm poking their eyes out, trying to break people's grips. I'm like, I didn't realize it because again, I'm
Right.
being taught to hurt and kill people. And I'm 5 years old, and I'm looking at it now. I'm like, so this is what we're doing, huh?
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. Okay, yeah,
A lot of these
I'll
action
give
movies
that
when I
to
was
it.
growing up,
But
well, not growing up, but I guess like
yeah,
in the
I
later
grew up
'80s
doing
and
that.
'90s and stuff, action movies were the uh, the fighting scenes were like really sensationalized, and then Steven Seagal comes out like with his first movie, and Hard to Kill, and we're like, holy shit! Like it wasn't like his fighting scenes were very practical, and then we learned it was a lot of kenpo style of moves. To the basic thing is to end the fight as quick as possible. So you break a wrist or
Yeah,
break the elbow, break the knee, and it's like it stops the fight instantly. you know. Uh
very
huh.
quick to where it's not a fight, and I actually expressed a lot of that. When I was in my adult years, when I graduated and I was in college and everything, um, I tried to make a lot of friends, and they tell you like, well, what are you into? And back then, I wasn't. When I was in college, I didn't do airsofting. I really didn't,
Okay.
not for a long while. So
Mm-hmm.
my big thing was I was always in the gym. I was trying to practice my martial arts. I was in the wrestling club. There wasn't a team, there was a club. I didn't go there, but that often because it was very optional. But I
Mm-hmm.
just remember going there, and I remember going to practice, and I wiped the floor. Or I shouldn't say wipe the floor, but I remember kicking a lot of ass to everyone in that wrestling room of all weight groups.
Oh shit.
And I was like, didn't you say you like placed at the county tournament? And I was like, what the fuck? I was impressed with myself, and then they're like, they were going through the positions because every club has to have um like a president, a vice president, a treasurer. So they're like, yo, you want to just? I was like, yo, like, can I be the vice president? They're like, dude, you could have been the president. I was like, I'm okay with that. I'm like, I'll take vice president because I'm not here a lot, so I'm not gonna. But I'll help you
Mm.
guys run the club. I love wrestling. So I was like, okay. I'm like, I'll do that. So, um, no, I love all that stuff. I really
How
do.
did you like? Now, were you able to teach people too, like wrestling
Yeah,
stuff? How'd you
that's
like
what I
it?
was gonna say. Um, when I was in the wrestling club, we were all, it was, since it was a club and everyone was treated as equal, we were all the same age. It's not like we were gonna have that kind of effect on each other, like, no, I'm in charge. No one's a coach here. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we were all able to give each other input. And it felt
Mm-hmm.
really, actually, really good because you go to high school and you have these coaches and they teach you, they tell you everything you need to do. Now you have these kids who have won rankings and titles, and they go to the county tournaments, they were captains of their team, and they're all giving input and tricks and lessons. It was almost like, as instead of having a coach, you had a democratic team. I've
Yeah.
never seen that. If you've ever gone to a competitive sport, you have one unified leader. Even in airsoft, you
Oh
usually
yeah.
have one maybe two people, coaches, assistant coach, team leader, co-leader, second in command, stuff like that. Oddly enough, this was completely almost um democratic, where it was like, hey, I remember learning this, my coach taught me this trick, here's a move, let's
Mm-hmm.
practice this move, let's do this. Oh, you're more lanky of a person, this would be a great move for you. It was good for the lanky person on my team, you could really be a killer at it.
Yeah.
Oh, and we would really share ideas. it
Right.
was uh it was a very different feel to have on a sports team, of all things,
Sure.
was everyone's opinion without having a control, and it was
Mm-hmm.
weird, but it was very good.
Yeah.
You
Those.
know what I mean?
Yeah, that works in those kind of environments. Like if you're on a competitive team, like let's say airsoft, for example, or any sport. Um, but if you're on a competitive team, the more competitive you are, the more leadership you need. Like you got to have the head, you got to have a head coach, you got to have somebody at the top um,
Yes.
that has the majority of the knowledge and is teaching that kind of thing. But like Speedsoft, these guys doing tournaments. In fact, right now, this weekend is the NSL tournaments, the Speedsoft tournaments, which is one of the highest levels of Speedsoft tournaments going on. Yeah, so they're having the finals right now. So this is they've been doing tournaments here. The NSL has, this is their first year doing it in America, and they've been having tournaments here every month or every couple months since the beginning of the year. Okay, well, this is their finals. This is like their championship this weekend up at in Rhode Island. What's the is it Extreme Airsoft, I think. So not
Yeah.
too far from you guys, but they're playing up there. And a lot of these speed softwares I talked with, that's one of the hardest things
No,
they
not at all.
have, or difficult, I guess, obstacles, whatever, is when they form a team that wants to be really competitive, is having that leadership. And because there's always personality conflicts, there's always, and this is not like an official sport where,
Mm-mm.
hey, like like a college football team, right? Um, like there's a college football coach has way more authority on the field with his team than
Right.
a pickup team that's playing airsoft, right? Even though they want to be competitive, so there's not a whole lot. Like if there's a little bit of conflict, somebody might be like, if they don't have strong character,
Yeah.
or they're kind of immature or something, they might be like, ah, fuck this guy, I'm gonna leave, and that kind of thing. It's a lot easier to walk off the field and start your own team or just leave, But yeah, it's yeah, you gotta have. Okay, let's hear it.
I think it's because um the mentality of speed soft, and don't get me wrong, it definitely exists in Milsim teams as well,
Yeah.
but I think more in a high density when it comes to speed soft is that the way you played speed soft, or at least the whole premise, a lot of it is not based off of teamwork. When you're playing speed soft, how many times do you see, whether it's competitive or not competitive, speed softers running in packs or in twos or threes? Usually when they run and they do these things, they're by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone on a speed soft mentality kind of works as if they want to create their own highlight reel with every game and every round. And
They
I'm
each
only
have their
saying
own.
this because
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying this because of two reasons. One, I grew up in indoor fields. The demographic is split. So you have
Mm-hmm.
people that want to play and do Milsim play, and then you have the people that want to do speed soft play because it's indoors. You guys share it. And I gotta say, just as a PS, there's a lot of conflict between this on this
I
line
know.
that doesn't have to be, especially because
Mm-hmm.
I have speed softers on my team. I have a Milsim team where I have taken people from Speedsoft teams that I've run with for years or I just met that have a
Yeah,
very good ability to cooperate, and they come and they play because it's a good dynamic to have. Just like I said,
for
Manimo,
sure.
you have the speedy guys on your team and the wilders on your team. Well, I have my ex speed softers and my saw gunners and my commandos, and they all kind of go.
Right.
We get individual jobs done, but here's the thing: is that everyone on a speed soft team is there with the same set of skills. They all run fast and have
Mm-hmm.
a short gun, and they run around the field and they go fast. That's not to knock speed softers, but you guys are all playing the same role of the same game, and you kind of all want to be the best. It's kind of like playing Call of Duty, where it's like, all right, I want to get the highest volume of kills possible,
Right.
and I want to do it myself. I want to be a one man highlight reel. And then you
Uh-huh.
go out and you do it, right? But now psychologically, when you're in a sport like that and you have that kind of mentality, there's also a kind of I am better than everyone else on this field kind of mentality. And that is something that you need to have. It's a winner's mentality thing.
Right.
But what's going to happen when you have a cluster of people where that mentality is a primary mentality? You're going to have a
Yeah.
lot of clashing. So when you try to find leadership, well, then it's almost like you're going to struggle to find that leadership a lot of times unless you have some kind of beginning establishment from the very get-go. I feel like beginnings are what really make a team, because here's where that lies. When it comes to speed soft, in my opinion, my theory is that you have a bunch of people who want to be the best, who think they are the best, whether it's proven or unproven, whatever it is, whether they're aspiring to be the best and trying to put the work in, or they have a god complex, whatever it might be, right? There's a billion reasons. None of them are per se negative. But when you take that and you run that and then you have that clash, it's hard to find leadership. Unless, say, you have a bunch of friends that are together, right? And they're like, we need to find a hobby. What can we do? Well, let's try this. Oh, well, I like the speed soft variety. And then, like, you're like, okay, well, you know what? This person seems to be the best out of all of us. Let's do this. Because here's the thing, it's not like a bunch of speed softers came together and they met. It's people that didn't have any background in it and started
Yeah.
it, and the best one kind of took the head. That
Mm-hmm.
that kind of means everything in a team as it is. It's kind of how my team almost started out. We were just a bunch of ragtags that played airsoft, and we're like, well, what's going to happen? Who's got the skill? Who's got the leadership build to do it? Especially when the old leader had left, they're like, well, who's going to step up? So I said, we kind of had like a vote, and I stepped up without hesitation. And I picked my co-captain. We all took a
Mm-hmm.
vote who'd be captain, co-captain. That was it. It was decided, and everyone who's joined the team from that point always respected that, which I love my team, because they not
Right.
only are they good people, they're also good at like being respectful of like, hey, we joined. We know who's in
Mm-hmm.
charge. We're friends with who's in charge.
Right.
I'm friends with everyone on my team. I make that a statement, because I'm not gonna just, when you make things more, I want to say not official, but almost professional, you're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna play the way you want to. I love having a good time on field, and
Yeah.
I treat it as if I'm going out with family, and
It's
everyone
like having
has their
that good
role.
balance of, hey, we want to win. We want to do good. We want to really try our best as this team, but
Right.
it's just a game, and it's not that serious. So it is hard to find that balance sometimes with different personality types, like on your team or whatever.
If you are somebody that wants to start an airsoft team and you can't find people, or you want to, you sometimes you just have to, because this is what I did. I remember when I started Deadline, I was like, I used to be a captain on my team. I have to suck it up and be a grunt. And I went and I followed the chain of command. I never questioned it. As you know, as
Mm-hmm.
I became pretty popular in the team throughout the years, because they loved how I played. They loved that I was aggressive. They loved that I was skilled, and I always brought a lot to the table. So I
Yeah.
kind of became popular. And then when I started taking on more responsibility. You know, I became a squad leader. Um, I had my own little unit. Whenever we went out, um, we'd go to Milsums and they'd give me the squad lead role. It would evolve. That's how
Mm-hmm.
you do it. You should never be ashamed to start at the bottom of somewhere. If you want to start your own team, right? Sometimes it's better to look for one that's already established and respect that command. Or if you want to do it, don't start a team because you want to be in charge of a team. Start a team because you want to build a family. That's how you got to look at it. Because I remember when we started the Valkyrie Directive, we didn't start it because we wanted to do something we loved and be in charge. We started because we had already known what we loved, and we wanted to do it with the people we loved, the people we grew with from the
Right.
start. And we said, you know what? Like, I run with these people all this time, this group of people. I want to run with them more. I want to create a family and play with the family, because this is who I am. These are the people I love, and I want to do what I love with them.
Mm-hmm.
You never start something just because you want to be in charge of it. Start something because you want to do what you love with people you love. It shouldn't matter who's in charge unless you have a problem with the person who is in charge for a legitimate reason.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's true. That's the thing. Like, well, that's kind of what I love about when I meet all these different airsofters around the world. They're from different gameplay styles, right? Some of them are like I've talked to a lot of speed softers, tournament level, and then just regular pickup game ones, every weekend, whatever. And then, of course, the mil sim players. Talk to a bunch of mil
Yeah.
simmers, and then anything in between. And teenagers, I've had, I think the youngest person I've had on here on the podcast is like 13. And the oldest guy, oh yeah, is Don from NEP Airsoft. Yeah, I think he's in his 60s.
Wow.
And so I've talked to a wide range of people, and what I've really found is that airsoft as a sport, as a hobby, it's so diverse. It really offers anything you want to play. Like if you want to play cosplay
Hmm.
and throw some airsoft in there, then you got those events. You got LARPing events. You got really deep storylines, like what we were talking about
Yeah.
earlier. In the beginning, some of the events, and then you've got the full on like Milsim West. If you want to pretend to be in the military for 3 days, there you go. Like
If you don't mind me asking,
yeah.
you seem to have kind of like a team based on your own, like your family. Like you got a couple friends, your sons do it, your son's friends go. When you guys go airsofting, do you does your I guess your team or your group of friends or whatever, do they establish their own roles, be it their own classes, like, hey, you're our saw gunner, you're our our grenadier, you're our sniper,
Mm-hmm.
you're our and is there like a chain of command that usually goes? Do they differ it up, like, because I know my team, there's a solid command structure, but there's also a, hey, this is more your level of expertise, what do
Yeah.
you suppose we do? Like, I like taking
Yep.
input from
That's
my
that's what
players
happened.
as well.
So these
Yep.
guys, when they started playing so the guy that got him into it, my two sons, the guy that got them into it was JP. He's a you know longtime friend of theirs that they grew up with, and so he's got that personality type that is he's way more energetic.
Right.
He's way more like he's definitely more the talker of the group because my two boys, they're they were offensive linemen for football. Okay, they played football from a young age. One of them wrestled for a couple years and heavyweight, and they're big. They're just big. They're not opinionated when it comes to this stuff. So when they go with Johnny, Johnny's like he'll talk about this and that. Like they pick their own roles. So like one time, one of my sons went to Milsim as the saw gunner, so a LMG guy or whatever. And then, but most of the time they go as riflemen. But if anyone is kind of like directing the group, it's definitely JP. And that's not because he said, "Hey, I'm the leader, follow me," kind of thing. It was just personalities. Like he's talking about it. He's more excited. He's like, "Okay, I'm going to tell you about this," and he knows all the details. He does all the research and stuff for the event. And then my two boys are just like, they're really laid back and they're like, okay, yeah, let's go, So they get into it. Once, they're very excited about it. But uh, JP is definitely more of the one to like, hey, let's do this kind of thing. And it just really just happened. It really happened organically and naturally because of personality types.
Gotta hand it to whenever someone joins the team, I try to give them a sense of purpose, because don't get me wrong, right? Everyone wants to do something special, but the pawns in chess are just not important, if not more important than all the other pieces on the board, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, out of my 13 guys, everyone usually has something that they specialize in, but I have a twist when it comes to my team and how I run it. So normally we have our go-to guys. We have our specialists, right? Um we have our riflemen who, in and of themselves, are specialists because you need somebody who's going to fight and hold down the front line and do the commando work, right? But I also tell all of my guys, I tell them, hey, what are you good at? And can you change the way you play? And what I mean by that is, for example, my co-captain, right? War Dog, call sign War Dog. I know you're going to be listening to this soon because I'm going to make you listen to it. So,
Shout out War Dog.
yep, War Dog is one of my closest friends. He's like family to me. He, when I first met him, I remember, um, he was the big LMG guy. He loved it. He had an M60. He wanted to
Yeah.
do Milsim events. He was always trying to do Strike Force. I recruited him. He hit me up. I was like, dude, let's go. You know, he's one of those guys that was on with me since Deadline. And I said, dude, like, welcome to the family. You know, I had never known him before. You know, he hit me up to join a team. And he's one of those people that is very crafty and very skilled. You can give him anything. You can give him a light machine gun, which he prefers. He's the light machine gun guy. But you can give him submachine gun, an assault rifle, a grenade launcher, a pistol, and he will use it and use it effectively. I I am the same way. I started off, they're like, well, where do you put hazard? I'm like, you could give me anything you want to give me. And I've proved that not only as a grunt, but as a team captain, where I've shown up to events as a rifleman, a grenadier, a saw gunner. I do a lot of submachine gun stuff inside as well. When I went to Crescent Sanatorium, I was a submachine gun. I had my MP5, you know, and I'm one of those
Is it
people
gas
because of
blowback?
this is how I am. No, it was not gas
Ah, you
blowback.
suck.
Ah, come on. You got. I don't want to carry all that gas on me. I'm running around for 3 days. I'm not gonna
I'm
either a
kidding,
gas
man. I'm
tank or
kidding.
other. I know.
I'm
I
kidding.
know.
Have you seen the?
I'm
Have
gonna.
you? Everyone's always like, whenever somebody says like the MP5s or whatever, they're like, you know, oh, it's got to be gas blowback, you know, to. Oh yeah. I think it's probably mostly the UK. The people, you know, I've talked to a bunch of people in the UK, and they're big into the gas blowbacks. So maybe that's where it comes
Mm,
from.
really are, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always been one because of you know how the batteries last. Obviously batteries last a lot longer than gas does. So
Right.
I'm I'm a big fan of that. And two, I mean, gas has always been more expensive. My entire team, almost for the most part, is part of what I like to call the BAC, Broke Airsofters Coalition. We
Oh
will
shit.
salvage if we have to. My MP5 I got in a glass case at one of my indoor local spots. We have a Ricochet Tactical. I love this feature. They do how do I say this? They're kind of like a trading post where they'll have a
Yeah.
glass case display of all of these used guns that people don't want and they work fine. The Ricochet makes sure they work fine. Like they test them and they'll put them in the glass case. The seller will name a price and they'll sell it for them in the glass case. Obviously, Ricochet does make a $10 profit off of it because they're
Well, sure.
using it. Right? They're like, hey, give
Well,
us
it's a
10
store.
bucks, we'll
They
sell
should
your
make a
rifle.
profit. Yeah.
Right. They'll be like, look, you can give us your rifle, we'll put it on the glass case. People come here to buy stuff. You give us 10 bucks and you put the price tag on it. And I remember I bought my MP5 works perfectly fine with
Hmm.
3 mags, a mock silencer, and the gun itself for $80. And I've had it
Damn.
since.
Oh, that's a good deal,
$80.
bro.
It is a HK, I want to say the Umarex or whatever that was, MP5, AEG, and the thing still runs like a mad dog to the point where I'm still running it, and I've had the gun 5 years, maybe, and it
Wow.
was used. I've never
That's
even
amazing.
gone into it. I've never touched it internally.
There. That's why it's lasting. everyone gets guns. They take it apart right away and go, "Oh, I'm gonna upgrade this and upgrade that," and then springs go flying out of the gearbox and they can't fucking fix it. All right, and I'm like, dude, stop taking this shit apart. uh,
How to
Good for
tech
you.
some stuff.
No, don't
Uh,
even, bro. Just
no,
use
I
it
will
the
say
way
this:
it is.
the reason, well, obviously, yeah, I'm the kind of person that'll shoot it till it breaks. But
Right.
whenever there's an upgrade or anything, I have two people that really do the tech work on my team, and that's War Dog and Gremlin. And War Dog is a damn genius when it comes to teching.
Good.
And if I'm I'm gonna learn from him, especially because I work with him. So I get to see him every day. I'd be like, hey,
Yeah.
show me a little bit how to do this,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not the brightest bulb when it comes to mechanics, so I'm almost scared to get into it.
Yeah, yeah. No, at least I mean, at least you
But
know. You know, hey, I'm
oh,
gonna
I
let
know.
somebody else do this. Yeah,
Trust me, I know.
that's
Uh,
good, man. Now, what do you guys
but
as a team? What do you got? What's your next big event? You said you have something in New Jersey.
oh, well, Jersey's kind of we're going to an op called the Feud. It's in Picasso Lake Airsoft. They
Okay.
couple of my teammates from Jersey, they want to go do it. I said, if anyone can give support, them go give them support. But we're actually going to the next big event that we're going to that I want all hands on deck for. We're doing something called Operation Yellow Dog. It is a big house Milsim event. I was so happy with the last big house Milsim event I went to at Crescent
Mm-hmm.
Sanatorium that when I heard what they were doing with this event, I said, I'm going. I want everyone on the team to go, and we are going to absolutely demolish this and have a blast. It is it's a milsim. It is a 40-hour event, just like Crescent was. They kind of give you
Nice.
breaks to sleep at night.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly like how ArcLight was. It's a
Okay.
40-hour. Um, they give you the breaks to sleep at night, but there's a day portion, a night portion. You do it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right?
Gotcha.
We want to go to something called Operation Yellow Dog by Big House Milsim, and what it is the AO is an entire town. It's an entire abandoned town in
Oh shit.
Pennsylvania. It was a mining town that was
Oh, okay.
abandoned. I forget why. There's a whole history to it. I think it's another
Now, when
tourist
is this?
attraction like the sanatorium is. This is actually in September. And the
September.
reason
Okay.
I'm doing this because like I'm taking a break for the summer because I want everyone. We've had a busy first half of the season.
Yeah.
Me personally, I know that I've done 6 events in 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been busy. We did
Right.
two, or at least I did. The team didn't come to the first event of the season. That was something I wanted to do, so I said I'm going. Right, but 5 events in 4 months basically. I had 2 events in March, 2 events in April, 1 event in May, and 1 event in June.
Yeah.
So I told everyone, I said, for the most part, I said, everyone take the summer off. We'll all hang out during the summer. We'll all do what we got to do, right? But take the summer to save up your money, save up your vacation days at work, do whatever you got to do. Make nice with whoever you got to make nice with at work, relax, fix up all your guns that might be broken during the season,
Mm-hmm.
upgrade your kits. So when the fall season comes around, when September comes around, when we go September, October, November, we can finish out the season strong as a team in numbers. And
Nice.
everyone, and going into the season, when we go into the season, all our stuff will be fixed. Our kits will be nice. We're ready to go. Maybe we'll field test it at a couple open plays,
Right.
and we have the entire summer to do it. This way,
Oh,
when
that's
we
cool,
can hit
man.
the rest of the season, we can hit it hard. Now, let me
That's
get
a good
into really
plan.
quick.
Well, let me
Yeah,
let's wrap it up real quick because
yeah.
it's been 2 hours already, and
Oh my gosh, dude,
doesn't feel
my
like it. I know,
ADHD is
and I
cranking.
got to take a piss. Um, but I also like to kind of cut it not short, but I want to have something to talk about on the next time because I always have people on a second time, at least one more time. But
Oh yeah, I'd
so
love to
tell
do
me,
this again.
where
Absolutely,
can
but
everybody find all
I
your
will.
stuff and follow you and your team on online?
All right, so team page. It's the Valkyrie Directive on Instagram. No underscores, no spaces, anything like that. No uppercase. Um, The profile picture is actually the same as my patch here that I have on my hat. It's very easy to
Perfect.
recognize.
Yeah.
And you could follow us there on Instagram.
And I'll have a link
And
for
we're
that,
a part. Yeah.
in the
And
video.
if you want to see any of my content, personally, I'm at call sign hazard, call sign underscore hazard. I try to keep content good quality. Like I said, I like to make the music videos and everything, something epic for people to watch,
Right.
or even, if you're interested in joining or hanging out and playing with us, by all means. Like I said, we try to make the sport as cool as it is to play and watch,
Exactly.
you know. So, like I said, we try to do fun events. We're going to an abandoned mining town, which they said
Yeah.
the gameplay is supposed to be based off of The Last of Us. I don't know if you ever heard of the game or the show. There's
Yeah,
supposed to
I've,
be
I
three
watched it and I
factions.
played the game.
There's supposed to be three factions: two human factions that are going up against each other with guns, and a zombie faction in this
Hmm.
giant abandoned mining town.
Well, I was going to say that's not until September. What I'd like to do is have you and maybe a couple of your teammates on before that event, and we could talk about, when you have like more details, like you guys have,
Oh, I'm
kind
so
of
down for it.
are excited about going, maybe like a couple weeks before the event, have you guys on. That'd be cool, man. But Anthony, it's been great meeting you and great talking with you. I appreciate you reaching out.
Oh, dude, I would love to be on here next, and we'll be in
Awesome.
touch. Thank you for having me on, and
Absolutely, man.
shout out to
Enjoy your
everyone.
Friday night.
Absolutely. And if I could say one more thing before we end this call or end this session, um, thank you to everyone on my team who's been putting in so much work to have this symbol be a name on the East Coast. Because I've noticed
Absolutely.
we've gotten some popularity. I'm doing podcasts with you and hanging out with good teams like the Mobros, and
Right.
I'm having the time of my life. And I could be doing this solo, but I'm doing this with you guys, and that's not just on me. That is because the people that I run with, the people that I've recruited, everyone from my second, the third, to everyone who just joined, you have made this completely possible. You've made this a family, and there's more stuff like this coming up because of you guys and the teamwork and the hard work that we've put in as a team and as a family. So thank you for getting us here, and I can't wait to see more of it.
Awesome, man. Great ending. Good job, brother. Hell yeah. I appreciate you, man. You have a good night.
Thank you.